Hi, I'm Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. No, my camera is not working, so that's okay. But you could see my guest, Gordon Dymowski, my buddy, and my buddy Patrick McCray, who are here to do Batman and Robin with me because, hey, somebody demanded it. So this stars George Clooney as Bruce Wayne / Batman. Chris O'Donnell returns. We get Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. We get Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Somebody plays Bane. Uh, I'll tell you my issue right up front with this movie, and then I'll let you guys take over. George Clooney is a great actor, taking nothing away, but he should not have played Batman at the fuck all.
Why not?
He just should not have. He just sorry. Like when I heard George Clooney, my eyes rolled. And here's the thing.
Really?
Yeah, really. And
why do you want to deny him the BM?
Well,
why is he not worthy of it?
Here's the thing. The character he played in Peacemaker or is more like Bruce Wayne / Batman than his Batman. Is more charming and charismatic in that movie than he is in this. And it's like, or sorry, Peacekeeper, but it's like, why the hell, did he not research this character? Because he admitted he didn't.
What's there to research? It's part of pop culture. I mean, like, how deep, like, what did he get wrong in the research? But where it's like, gosh darn it, Bruce Wayne always wears a crooked nose when he goes to the opera. I mean, like, what? I gotta know. What did he?
But let me put it to you this way: when he was on screen, I was just like, yeah, wake me when
and
this
he could have researched his way out of this.
Like, wake me when this is over.
Well, no, Joel, I understand, but I'm going to keep talking. He could have researched his way out of it.
Well, not if he researched the actual character, he could have, got it right and played the character how he's supposed to play it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in because
Gordon, please.
First off, whenever I hear somebody declare they didn't get it right, what that tells me is this is less about what he did and more about taste. Because to me, Clooney, whether and I may be off here, but it felt like Clooney was really channeling his inner Adam West in this movie. Like this movie felt a lot less like a paycheck movie. I don't think he's bad. I just think he kind of knew going in what he was going to do. I mean, it's not a good movie, but he's not really that bad in it.
I don't think the problem with this movie is George Clooney. If anything, he gives one of the most relaxed. He gives one of the most relaxed, naturalistic performances of the three actors we've seen play Batman. He has the physical prowess to be a believable, Batman, and he has the smoothness to be Bruce Wayne, without having to be excessively wacky or quirky or something like that. So I buy him. That's one of the things that makes the movie watchable for me. Is every time George Clooney's on screen, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, Michael Keaton was not any Batman fan's first choice. No one in America was going, make it Keaton. Yes, it's Keaton. I told you, dude. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was the Ben Affleck of the 1980s in that he was not the guy you would hire to play him.
And then, with Val Kilmer, again, no one was going, make it Val. It was like, oh, well, I mean, that's fine. He should be okay. I mean, wears a cowl, he should be fine. But when they got George Clooney, I thought, now we're talking. Now that is an interesting action star, or at least someone who appears believably smooth, self-confident, has some physicality to him. But that was just me.
Yeah, and at this time, I don't even think he was a movie star yet. I think he was just on TV.
He had not yet made Out of Sight,
Mm-hmm.
which was his, I think, big breakthrough movie.
He had made a movie though.
Well, he made a movie. Okay, what was his movie that he made, Jewel?
There was a movie called One Fine Day opposite Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay. Well, that's like saying that, Jim Carrey was in Once Bitten.
And he was also, again, before this, he was in a movie called Peacekeeper, which is a story about a man trying to prevent a nuclear war, along with the scientist who was played by, I believe, Nicole Kidman.
Of course.
Interesting action movie. I loved his performance in that, which came out way before this. I think a full year or so before this.
Well, I'm looking that up right now.
Now, did he make Trapper Keeper the movie?
I don't know.
That's the movie I want to see. Somebody get that lucrative Trapper Keeper intellectual property. Make an honest property out of it. Jewel, they're making movies out of Barbie. Probably going to be making a movie out of Play-Doh in every sense soon.
Well, I saw the Barbie movie. I have kids, so I saw the Barbie movie.
Sure. How did you feel about it?
I didn't.
You like Kate McKinnon as the weird Barbie, right?
Okay. So far, I'm looking at IMDb, and he made From Dusk to Dawn in 1996, which is
I love that movie.
The role that got him Batman.
Yeah.
One Fine Day.
Yes.
And yes, The Peacemaker was in 1997. Whether that was made before or after Batman, I do not know. Yeah. But I would say that, complaining that George Clooney isn't the ideal Batman, he is a much better Batman because he seems to be enjoying the role than Val Kilmer.
Val doesn't look like he's having fun. George is having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not faulting him for having fun. Again,
you just said no one could have fun. You said fun should be illegal. You said you're going to round up anyone having fun, and I, Jewel Sains, shall
think of it
put
this
them in
way.
The agonizer.
In the action sequence where they're flying through and they're driving on the big arm, and Clooney turns off O'Donnell's motorcycle. I really was hoping O'Donnell would just go off the arm and leave the entire movie. That's the guy who shouldn't be there, not George Clooney.
I mean, look, if you guys like George Clooney, that's all well and good. Or for Batman,
we like him a lot. Gordon and I are going to talk about him at length after this podcast.
And it's the if you like him, that's fine. It's the if you're thinking he's the Hamlet of Batman actors, no, he's not.
No, I'm not.
But I'm sorry you didn't like him, Jewel. But you know what? In the role, he is not that bad.
Who is the Hamlet of Batman actors?
No,
that would be Adam West.
I wanted him to play Batman.
He does play Batman.
No, wait, listen. I wanted him to play Batman with some actual life in the fucking character, like he did with Peacekeeper. Go watch that movie and then watch this movie and tell me he played that character with some fucking life in it, and then I'll say I'm wrong. But no, I'm not, because he fucking didn't. He was so vanilla. It wasn't even funny.
So
vanilla.
Dude, he's putting I was in the fucking theater. He was putting the audience to fucking sleep.
Like a cat that he had gotten tired of. I'm like, put it to. You don't mean he euthanized the audience.
What saved that movie? Honest to God, let me tell you what saved that movie. The one-liners. That's it. That movie had so many one-liners from Mr. Freeze, and it wasn't even funny.
The Ice Age.
Here, I think I might be seeing where Joel's coming from, because in this movie, you don't have the pretentious kind of psychoanalysis of Batman you did in Batman Forever.
That's true.
I mean, this is just. Yeah, I think
dating
Schumacher
Claudia
was
Schiffer.
like, you know what?
He's not
Don't.
gonna
Yeah.
get.
You know, most of the his Bruce Wayne is pretty much like he's got his shit together.
He does. He's at the top of Maslow's hierarchy as far as Bruce goes. Jewel, I think I can explain. I can never make you enjoy George Clooney and Batman the way a real American would.
Yeah.
But I'm just having fun. But I think I can explain why Clooney took the acting choices he did. The movie visually, especially after he saw Batman Fever, or whatever the last one was, the movie he knew was going to be so over the top everywhere else that the more he allowed his performance of Bruce Wayne to be just simple, straightforward, the more he would sort of ground that character and in a way make that character stand out. Because if you try to compete with all of that madness, it's you're Jim Carrey. Even Tommy Lee Jones, who gives a pretty embarrassing performance. Because Tommy is not an extroverted guy, and so seeing him pretend to be an extroverted guy is just, it's like watching Gene Roddenberry twerk. It's like, oh please, Gene, don't, just stay home. So I think that's why Clooney is so laid back in the film, is to try and be what we call a normative character.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. I'm not. I want to say The Peacemaker had come out before Batman because I remember watching it.
The fact is, you love Peacemaker, and that's okay.
Look, that movie with him in it, he was great in that.
You should see him in Peacemaker.
He was a goddamn action star in that movie. Go watch it. But to go from that to doing Batman, and it was very laid back, I'm thinking, and again, it's a different character for sure. Batman's a different character.
Yeah, because they're not getting him psychologically in this.
Right.
He's dealing with things like Alfred's death. I mean, it's a mellower series of losses.
Okay, and I did a quick Google search. The Peacemaker came out 3 months after Batman and Robin.
3 months after. Okay.
So it's not like so it was probably, and he had left ER, his show, to concentrate on movies. So this was probably one after the other.
Yeah. And I mean, so BM dropped first.
Yeah.
And then, and so then you were ready for, what was it, Line of Sight? What was the movie? Only Commanders Win. What was it? Line of Fire? What was it?
Peacemaker.
I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah,
of the movie.
And I'm going to have to tell you, Jules, the only Peacemaker that matters is the one with John Cena.
If it had been Peacemaker and Robin,
I can't see
Robin
John
would have had
Cena.
a long night. What?
I can't see John Cena in anything he's in. I mean, what?
Is there a judge's ruling?
Well, there's a better series called Peacemaker with John Cena.
I watched it. Yeah, interesting.
What'd you think, Jewel?
I thought the story was interesting, where you had these creatures that were inside people. That was fucking something.
It's like the two popes.
So what did you guys think of Uma Thurman in this? Is Poison Ivy?
I'm afraid to say anything because I know Jules going to start going off on, oh, she was horrible. She wasn't as good as she was in Kill Bill.
No, we'll put the foot on the other glove. Jewel, what did you think?
I think she did a good job. I mean, look, Uma Thurman is a hell of an actress, and I was sort of shocked to see her in this role because, again, she had played characters to me that were a lot darker than Poison Ivy, but I get why they chose her because she knows how to act, and she knows how to move and posture her body really well. I mean, if you want somebody...
Poison Ivy wasn't going to be that dark because the movie takes place in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, she's turning brown a little bit.
Yeah.
Get her in the, June. Watch out.
Yeah. But I like the fact that they cast somebody who knew how to posture their body, and because that's something that Poison Ivy does a lot of, sort of sexuality movements and flirt, and like tries to seduce men.
She's a real Clarice Blackburn in that department.
So I really like how she portrayed Poison Ivy. She did a good job.
I agree.
Yeah, you know who else was good at posturing themselves in this movie?
Yeah.
George Clooney.
He knows when to do that.
Yeah, he knows how to do backflips, and he knows how to hold a credit card.
And he does this too. He does this really well. The eyebrow forward acting.
Oh my God.
Now Bruce. Now Dick.
Yeah.
Now Alfred. Now Barbara.
Yeah, I mean, I
Now
think
Vixen and Donder.
now I think Uma Thurman did a great job, but I think this whole movie, I think everyone is like, it feels like I do not say this lightly. It's the one that really feels like it reflects, it's trying to reflect the spirit of the 60s show.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily do that great a job in places, but it just it's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be like dark and grimdark and awesome.
Here's the irony. Well, hey, the movie made money.
Yeah.
It did fine at the box office. But the thing about this movie is that it has a very specific type of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And that type of confidence has to do with the fact that I think everyone on the production team really thought the band is finally together.
Yeah.
Because Clooney's not a nut. He apparently was very solid, showed up to work, did his thing. He was not threatening to quit. He had signed for at least one other movie, which was going to be called Batman Triumphant. The sets were still standing for a long time. They were all ready to go. It's like, this is the new Batman family from a production point of view and from a cast point of view. It was all finally, they had it down to a science, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
For the best. I mean, they ended up making a hell of a few Batman movies as a result. And it would be curious to get Schumacher's take on those, to see whether or not he was sitting in the theater thinking, oh, I could have done that. If they had asked me, I could have done that. And I actually think Schumacher could have done a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
If that's what they had asked for.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze?
It's improbable stunt casting. Given that, Arnold looks like he's having a lot of fun. And because he looks like he's having so much fun, it's fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely goofing off with a pretty girl, in wacky makeup. Considering how tough most of his shoots have been, that he wasn't having to work out excessively before, every day's shoot, and for 6 months prior to it, he got to show up and goof off. And I don't know, when was Patrick born? When was his son Patrick born?
That's a good question.
Because that has a lot to do with, I think, this performance. When was Patrick Schwarzenegger?
He was born in 93.
So he's got a 4-year-old kid who's just beginning to understand toys and stuff like that. What a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, plus Schwarzenegger was probably paid in protein bars, so there you go.
But seriously, I mean, that's one you could say, man, I got a 4-year-old at home. He's going to go nuts when he sees this. Because he can't take him to see Conan or the Terminator. But he can do this. And yeah, this is like Frank Langella, doing Skeletor. Now, there's a corollary to that story. I got to rack and tear this for a minute. Dennis Hopper did the Super Mario Brothers movie. He's the bad guy. And he told the story on Letterman. He said, I was watching some of it on TV with my son, My son came in, he's looking at the movie and looking at me, and my son's like, 4 or 5 years old. He said, Daddy, why did you do this movie? And Hopper said, so you can have shoes. And the kid said, I don't need shoes that bad. Mojo Nixon's best movie.
I'll say this: just Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze is really enjoyable. It's a fun watch.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Schwarzenegger is a hell of an actor, hell of a performer. He knows how to entertain. Yeah, he knows how to entertain an audience.
And he hits the emotional notes about Victor and his wife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like those are manufactured. I buy those as an audience member. And, crazy German scientist. Enough said.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really well done. What did you guys think of, what is it, Alfred's niece?
Yes.
Played by Alicia Silverstone.
I thought she was stunning. I mean, she is a Lisa Welshell type blonde. And she's smart and she's confident. And she can't help some of the girls' rule stuff in the script, that Chris O'Donnell looks embarrassed to be delivering, and she looks kind of embarrassed to be shooting back, because that was all very Happy New Year 1978. But nevertheless, she is athletic, and she's fun, and I mean, I think probably any superhero character is going to have a slightly, person running around in a tight outfit, kind of stuff. And God knows that, who was it, Jerry Siegel? It was Jerry Siegel or Joe Shuster, one or the other, certainly had a fetishistic turn to drawing muscle men. So the idea that, Frederick Verdum got it a little right, in that there is a slightly lurid element to these characters. And Alicia Silverstone, in a very healthy, scrubbed, innocent, all-American way, delivers that. I like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fun part of the movie.
Yeah, she's enjoyable for sure. I do wish she would have been a little more in the movie from a character dialogue sense.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
I feel they could have given her better dialogue. That's not her fault. The dialogue they give her, I feel like they didn't give her enough dialogue in my view.
Would you believe?
I do like her character for what they do give you.
This is written by the guy who's written and run Strange New Worlds. What on earth? Yeah. And who got, I think, an Oscar for Cinderella Man? Akiva. All over the map. I had a long time trying to get comfortable with this guy because of this movie and the prior film, which I think he also helped write, and Lost in Space, which he really screwed up. So if Strange New Worlds is his way of making up for it, he's doing God's work.
Gordon, what did you think?
Well, I think that Akiva Goldsman has probably had a lot more people looking over his shoulder on Strange New Worlds because, of his poor track record. But yeah, I think Alicia Silverstone is fine. I'd love to see more of her and less of Chris O'Donnell, who, if you want to talk about bad limp performances, it's like he's just kind of there. It's like, cut his lines, give them all to Alicia. I mean, he just doesn't bring anything other than that kind of, you expect Brooke Ward to come in and just kick his ass at some point in the middle of the movie just because.
Sure. Burton Jervis had more
huevos
in his left tight. But, I mean, but Chris O'Donnell, it's a thankless part. You really have to find a young, healthy Michael J. Fox type to bring that part to life. And I think they were going for the hunkier type figure. Okay.
If you could, let's have some fun here. If you guys could have cast anybody for Batgirl, who would you have cast? I like Alicia Silverstone, but if you could have cast somebody, who would you have cast?
At that point in time,
Yes.
Clarice Blackburn.
Clarice Blackburn, yeah, 1995. Well, it's 1997. Allison Hannigan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, I mean, you play these characters, as teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have made her older, but Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston would have been lovely. What a great choice.
I think I would have went with Stacy Keenan.
Stacey Keach?
Keenan.
Well, I guess he could have fit into the stuff. What did he do in Ninth Configuration that was it the way he fought Michael Myers? What was the way that you felt Stacey Keach would look good in feminine tights?
Well, actually, Patrick, I think Jewel is going after Keach's later role as Ken Titus on the show Titus, where he's wearing glasses and calling people wussy and drinking a lot. So that's where I think.
Jewel, who is Stacey King? I don't know who Stacey King is.
Stacey Keenan was on Step by Step. She played Dana, and she was also on My Two Dads.
Really, I didn't know you had two. But good for them, I guess. Then
and that's possible. And that's possible character defamation if Jewel is claiming that an actress was on his two dads. I mean, that's just.
What are you referring to as your dad?
There was a show called My Two Dads.
So now there's a whole show about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Jewel. There's a whole
Hey,
show.
Jewel, now you're gonna. I'm sure you're gonna start telling us.
Now I know why the camera's not on.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. So if you could cast Poison Ivy, not in this movie, but a future Poison Ivy, let's say we get a modern Poison Ivy later in a Batman movie, who would you cast?
Florence Pugh.
Oh my god.
See, I'm trying to think of.
She already wears fruit and stuff in her hair in Midsummer, so she's halfway there.
I would cast a local burlesque performer named Eva LaFiva.
You're gonna send her this clip, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know her personally.
Sure, she has an Instagram.
If I were casting a modern Poison Ivy, I hope she does end up playing the role. Andy Matichak, I would cast.
I would cast an elderly Catherine O'Hara.
There you go.
I would cast B. Arthur.
B. Arthur's Bane. Are you?
No. Betty White is Bane. B. Arthur is Poison Ivy.
That's a very. That's like a California redwood.
Did you see Betty White in the movie? Did you ever see Betty White in the movie Hard Rain?
No.
You gotta watch it.
No, I have a mod for the game Heavy Rain that puts Betty White in.
I watched this on Pluto. I seen it before. Go watch it. She just cuts a promo on the sheriff. It's hilarious. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks like it's the Randy Quaid Christian Slater team up action film that with Morgan Freeman that we've been waiting to see.
Yeah.
When I say we've been waiting to see, it's like we don't care to see.
It's sort of like Morgan Freeman, walked up to an elderly Lou Gossett and said, "Lou, you don't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel anymore. I'll take over." These great actors get an Oscar or something, and then it's a Christian Slater action.
Well, at least Lou Gossett got the HBO Watchmen series.
Did he?
Yeah, he is one of the lead characters in that series.
Lou Gossett?
Yes.
I've seen that series.
He plays
the lubricant. Is he the lubricant man?
No, he's the guy who becomes Hooded Justice.
So you're right. That was
Yeah,
right
I
before the
am right.
pandemic. I was right before the pandemic. It all kind of went in one eye and out the other.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jewel talking about how George Clooney wasn't as good as he was in Peacekeeper, but I've seen the entire John Cena series of Peacekeeper. George Clooney is not in it.
Yeah. No, I had just forgotten about Lou Gossett in that, but you're right.
Oh,
That was
God.
a kind of. What do you think of that TV show?
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good way to take some of the source material, but not do like a straightforward sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
I mean, there's other things to talk about, to talk about it, but that's
That's a separate discussion.
yeah. Besides which, Jewel probably complained that what Watchmen needed was
Oh.
George Clooney and John Cena, basically. So
Well, it would have been great. That would have been terrific. Who would John Cena? John Cena would have played Dollar Bill. Gets his cape caught in the.
I don't know. I always thought the Watchmen movie was overrated, but that's just me.
oh no, this is the series. This is not the
This is the
movie.
series. This isn't the movie. The movie actually is not overrated. The movie is. They cast most of the cast is way too young. Can Ozymandias please just do at least one push-up? He looks like someone Ozymandias would beat up at the beach. Ozymandias is Doc Savage. He's supposed to be huge, and the Night Owls should be an older actor.
Yeah.
Should have a bit of a tummy.
Yeah, and not one that just kind of comes and goes as is convenient for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Malin Ackerman was too young. And honestly, I really missed the squid. There is something truly horrific about that idea,
Mm-hmm.
and wonderfully Lovecraftian. And what a digital mat you could have made of this incomprehensibly huge and hideous creature landing in New York. There is no reason to have shied away from that. And Alan Moore knows a thing or two about storytelling. So if you're going to be so faithful, put in the squid.
Yes.
Well, by the time Watchmen was made, Moore was like, basically, screw you, DC, because he got screwed over. So
I know
don't think
that.
he cared.
No, he didn't care. I'm saying I care.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
And I
you.
bet Dave Gibbons was happy to pick up a check, but Dave probably said, "Wait, where's this? Why did you take it out?
Yes.
Are you trying to make it more realistic?"
Well, I think at one point they wanted to substitute. They wanted to have George Clooney for the squid, but they couldn't afford him.
Looking out from those eyes right above the beak.
Yeah.
It's down on its head, kind of looking.
Oh my God. What's you guys' favorite scene in this movie, Batman and Robin?
I would say probably Batgirl suiting up. I hate to go so luridly, but it's a lurid movie. So that's the lurid moment I enjoyed. Although John Glover is really funny in this. In rewatching it, John Glover really makes all of his scenes work.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite is when they're at the big party scene where Ivy throws her pheromone dust and they're starting to outbid each other, like 1 million.
That's funny.
And the funny thing is, like at 4 million, Robin says, well, I'm just going to borrow it from you. So like essentially Bruce Wayne is bidding against himself.
Yeah.
And then he takes out the Bat credit card. Like,
any of Michael Gough's scenes in this I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Gough and George Clooney, I think, have a really beautiful scene where he tells Alfred that he loves him, and I that scene really was emotionally effective for me.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed Alicia Silverstone's entrance into this movie, and though her character was a bit underwritten in my view, I did enjoy it. I felt she still held her own with Clooney and O'Donnell. Did a really good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Agreed.
let's see. There's some cool effects in this movie. I really enjoyed Mr. Freeze's gun. What did you guys think?
It's a cool gun. I don't remember it. It's big and shiny.
It just freezes stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a fictional thing that doesn't exist. So it's not like we can say, oh, yeah, we want to go pick up a gun like that so we can freeze stuff.
It was good. It was good Max Fleischer, Superman
Right.
type prop design. Yeah.
Yeah. I love what Schwarzenegger's line. What do you guys do? Go after me or save the bird or save the boy wonder or whatever it is. I really enjoyed how Schwarzenegger's just delivering these one-liners one right after another. Great job.
It's no Jojo Rabbit, but it's good.
Again, though I don't love George Clooney in the role, the overall movie isn't bad. I will say that to you.
It's a sizable improvement
What did you
over the
guys
last one, but that's a very low bar.
What did you guys think of Bane in this movie?
Unnecessary.
The character has meant nothing to me because the character came about after I stopped reading the comics.
Yeah,
So,
the only reason why Bane exists was that DC wanted a stunt to sell more comics after Superman died.
Yeah.
So they said, "Oh, hey, we'll have him break Batman's back," and basically that's all he does. He's kind of evidence of the whole '90s. Oh, comics got to be extreme, and Batman's dark and brooding and everything else, and Bane does not need to be in this movie.
Yeah, he sort of felt like that too, I think.
And you know what they could have done instead of Bane? More George Clooney.
Or instead of Bane, give Alicia Silverstone more lines.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a better point.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy with that. It's an actress I do not see enough.
Who's you guys' favorite Alfred in the Batman series? In the Batman.
There's only one Alfred in
Alan
this
Napier.
entire series of movies.
Alan Napier.
Yeah, Alan Napier.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
I mean, ultimately, the part is supposed to be David Niven.
yeah.
And if I could CGI an actor into any of it, I'd CGI in David Niven. I mean, that's who the character's drawn like, at least by Neil Adams. And I was always reminded of David Niven in like in Untold Stories of the Batman, where we're learning about him in the, World War resistance and all of that.
Yeah.
Or OSS or whatever it was.
I really enjoyed Michael Caine's Alfred.
I mean, they have yet to hire a bad actor as Alfred. I mean,
Yeah.
who else do we get? It doesn't Andy Serkis play it in Joker?
Yeah, in the Batman he plays.
In the Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Andy Serkis is fine, and Jeremy Irons, no flies on him.
Yep.
So and Michael Gow, of course, a marvelous Hammer actor, who really grows on me.
Yeah.
Especially by this film. I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
But, I have to be a purist and go back to Alan Napier.
Cool. I have no more questions for you guys. Is there anything you want to add about Batman and Robin before we get on out of here?
No, but I will throw something out there. We got 4 more. And they're all very interesting movies.
Yeah, Batman.
If you want to look at if you want to keep going, I'm happy to, because I think they're movies worth talking about and rewatching. I think I've seen The Dark Knight a couple of times, but I've only seen The Dark Knight Rises once.
Yeah.
And I still haven't watched all of the Paul Dano Christmas special.
So are you guys good to discuss Batman Begins tomorrow night?
I can do whatever. I don't want to voluntold, Gordon into anything. But Gordon, what do you think?
Yeah, we can talk about Batman Begins tomorrow night.
All right. At the same
This
time,
movie I like a lot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, me too. I have no complaints. First of all, I want to thank these two gentlemen for joining me for Batman and Robin. We'll be back tomorrow night for Batman Begins. Links to Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page is going to be in the description box. Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook About is going to be in the description box. You gentlemen have a fabulous night and take care.
You too.
Sip wisely.
Good night, all.